Let's go back to Kyrie Irving, because Luke mentioned Kyrie Irving refuses to get vaccinated. We have the story from Insider.com. The Nets are conceding he won't play in home games in a stunning turn of events. Man, look, there's hard falls and there's scary falls. There's a lot of people who say, I'm worried about refusing this. If I lose my job, how do I feed my kids? Mm-hmm. And I completely understand that. Yeah. But complying has got us to the point where now there's food shortages. Yep. Now you've got someone like Kyrie Irving who's worked hard his whole life. He's one of the best. He's in the NBA, and now he's gonna potentially lose that, standing up for his beliefs. There's still a lot to lose. A lot of hard work people put in.
Yeah, he's standing up for his principles, and he's putting up millions of dollars and he's making a stand here. Now, he was asked about this. He says he doesn't really want a lot of public media attention on this. He's trying to, of course, work things out. But New York City mandates that people get vaccinated if they want to work there, and he's working for the Brooklyn Nets. So this is unfolding to a situation where it's not just Kyrie. There's a lot of other NBA players that have been very articulate, that have been voicing their concerns, and have actually been talking about the science and the risk-benefit analysis here when it comes to healthy, athletic individuals risking themselves to do a compliance procedure that might have complications, that might hurt them and end their careers. So there's a lot of things to weigh here. There's a lot of things to discuss here. But at least some of these NBA guys are starting the conversation, and at least they're making it an issue that can't be avoided. Because when you have Kyrie Irving, one of the best players on that team, saying, I'm not going to play home games now because of this ridiculous government mandate, it puts it in your face how over the top a lot of this is.
We also have this story from Timcast.com. Former Misfits singer Michael Graves cancels Los Angeles concert over vaccine mandate. Now, this I have tremendous respect for. He says, quote, I have made the decision to not perform on October 13th in L.A. at the Whiskey A Go-Go due to the city's vaccine mandate that is being enforced as of October 7th. Graves said in a statement provided to Timcast, I will not perform to a segregated audience. I will not participate in any effort to pressure anyone into undergoing an experimental medical procedure to enter and dwell in a building as a prerequisite to see me perform.
Oh.
If I can't play for all of you, I won't play at all. I mean, hey, bro, go on the street corner and busk. That'd be the coolest thing ever.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
Maybe get a security guard or something, but...
Giant middle finger, too, to the venue and to all the folks. Yeah, that'd be
yep, tell everybody, come outside, watch for free. Yeah. I think that'd be fantastic, but this is incredible. I mean, to be completely honest, there are a lot of people who say a lot of words about I refuse. This vaccine mandate is bad policy, and a lot of them don't actually put up. They don't put their money where their mouth is. They'll go and they'll perform all the same at the vax mandate places and be like, oh, what's the big deal? If you really oppose the vaccine mandates, then you would oppose them and not be the tool by which these vaccine mandates are implemented. Yeah. So these guys, Kyrie Irving. I'm actually interested because New York City has a performer exemption. Right. So that's interesting. Like if Graves were to play in New York City, the executive order says if you're performing on stage, you don't got to get vaccinated.
Yeah. Which I think is just
makes no sense.
Of course, it doesn't make sense. But like you're trying to make sense out of things that are designed to be nonsensical. But what's interesting, I know like a week or two ago, I was watching you and you were saying how if you oppose the I think caused a little bit of a stir on Twitter. But if you oppose the mandate, but you still get the vaccine anyways, then you don't really oppose it. And I get what you're saying.
Or if you go along with the mandate.
I said. Yeah. If someone claims that they oppose the vaccine mandate,
right,
but then out of fear of losing their job, go and get the vaccine mandate anyway, they're not actually opposing. They don't actually oppose it. What I mean to say is, how is it opposition to something that you're actively participating in?
Yeah. You can dislike something without opposing it.
So people are looking at the word oppose like I think it shouldn't be done versus oppose and I'm actively standing up against it.
That's fair because there's so many folks out there. It's like that, they don't have, they're not professional athletes. They're not professional performers where, they're pulling down, 60, 70 grand a year. They got family. They're, they don't have a ton in savings. And it's like, they don't have a lot of runway. And it's like, hey, they lost their job. No, absolutely, 100%. I think that's why it's good for folks like this to start doing it. It's like, okay, maybe there's something here. And it's even better when you're seeing an industry where it makes them hurt, where you're talking about the pilots. And also, it's the flight attendants. I got a DM earlier. It's like, hey, don't forget about the flight attendants because they make a lot less money. And also, but they're in the exact same boat. And there's plenty of them, too. And that's a big one.
There's a lot of Southwest pilots.
Yeah.
From what we're hearing, it's about half or maybe just under half
are unvaccinated.
So that's where when the pilots we're talking to, and we know quite a few Southwest pilots, being in the Navy, a lot of pilots from the Navy or Marine Corps go right into working with Southwest as an example in this case.
And we know a few, yeah.
And that's what they're saying is if they don't do this, and maybe it's only 25 or 30% that just refuse.
Yeah, it is.
But that's still significant.
It's a lot. So you think
Southwest already has their problems aside from these most recent
before all
issues.
this. So if you think you have like a little less than half of all the pilots are unvaccinated, so that's like the estimate right now, and let's say like half of those, which is at the other estimate, half of those. So yeah, 20, 25, maybe 30% at most are gonna like lose their job. That's a bad news bears. And also I got to point out this one gal who wrote to me. Her name's Crystal. She sent me a DM. She says, "Thank you for speaking about the Southwest Airlines. Please don't forget the thousands of flight attendants that are facing termination as well. My 20 plus years are being flushed down the drain. Thank you for all you do."
But let's think about what
Crystal, we feel you.
The logical conclusion to these efforts, right? It'll be a lot harder to fly. Demand will still be there, but the prices will skyrocket. There's substantially less pilots. There's less flight attendants. There's going to be less availability.
Yeah.
What do you get? Hunger Games.
Yeah.
You're going to get very wealthy elites. You're going to get the people who are willing to wear the masks. Like, was it Hunger Games that had the AVOXs we were talking about?
That was Hunger Games.
Yeah. So I guess this wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, no, it was part of the book.
In the book, the rich people in the Capitol have servants whose tongues have been cut out. That's what it was.
Nope.
Yeah, so it's so interesting you mentioned the Hunger Games because the way I see it, Kyrie Irving is really channeling what the African American community is feeling right now. And these celebrities saying this is a counter to the Hunger Games because they're saying, no, we're not going to do this. And not only that, normal people who are afraid to lose their jobs, they're not alone. So seeing all these captains do this and seeing all these celebrities do this has got to be incredibly encouraging.
At the same time,
hopefully,
if regular people walk off their jobs, say start homesteading, which I think would be good, I think it's fantastic. Just realize we're going to live in a world where only the wealthy elites are traveling internationally.
Yep.
The wealthy elites are the only, it's going to be like Elysium almost.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be living in like, and do these people want this? I'd imagine.
Yeah.
They
And also
want a surf class.
And think about also it's Southwest because that's the budget airline, right? They're the one that's hurting too. Like the folks who can afford it, can handle it. Like they're flying either another airline, they're flying up front, right? They're flying business or first class, or or some would be flying private. They're flying, any of those. Like the budget airline is for like the everyday folks. Hey, it's a cheap ticket, gets me from where I got to go. Taking the family to Disney. I got a business, like that's what that is. And it's like, it's going to hurt them the most. It's not hurting, the big boys.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the term the Great Reset.
Yeah.
But a lot of globalists, especially at the World Economic Forum, came together and said that people are flying too much, people are consuming too much red meat, people are enjoying life too much, and they need to be controlled and regulated to the point where they have no privacy, own nothing, and they're happier than ever. So when you look at what's happening now, especially with the larger economic consequences, the government has their fingerprints all over it, with helping spur on a lot of troubling times that are going to be coming very soon. Whether it's lockdowns, whether it's mandates, whether it's restrictions, whether it's regulations, whether it's taxes, everything the government is doing is trying to stop any kind of prosperity, any kind of sovereignty, any kind of liberty and freedom, and trying to benefit, of course, the corporate billionaire class that has greatly benefited from every one of those policies. So what we're seeing here is a clash point, but it's a clash point that's not started by pilots and stewardesses and Kyrie Irving. It's a reaction to something that may be more methodical, that may be done on purpose in order to spur on more of an economic destruction and calamity that should be coming soon.
Is it war? I mean,
some people say economic warfare is war.
Right. Fifth generational warfare.
Yeah.
Target supply lines, crush them. And then what have we seen over the past few decades? One of the biggest problems that one of the biggest weaknesses we face as a country is capital incentives. You find a powerful individual or a high-powered company, and then you can easily offer them money to guide them in the direction you want. See, the thing about the Chinese Communist Party and the authoritarians is that they're ideologically driven and authoritarian, so their incentives are all based on whether I'm told to do it or the tribe wants it. In the United States, there could be a company, and all you got to do is chip one step at a time. Here's some money, do this. Here's some money, do that. And eventually you can steer them in a wrong direction. For example, if a bunch of contributions are coming in to politicians who are advocating for sending our manufacturing overseas, and then all of a sudden the middle class gets gutted, which has happened, the center will not hold. There's no center left. Yeah. Our politicians have literally gutted us, and it was easy to exploit them into doing it. Yeah. Look, we see what's going on with Swalwell and Fang Fang. Dianne Feinstein and her driver. We saw Mike Pompeo come out and say that there's, the Chinese have infiltrated us every level.
Oh yeah.
So I'm wondering if we're seeing all these shortages and all this bad policy simply because this is a means of war.
They play the long game, like the Chinese.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, they know, like they think in decades and centuries. Well, we're thinking about the next election cycle.
Yep.
That, we don't think that further past. And so like that was, I know that's kind of one of the things we want to talk about, but that was my, that whole area, Asia Pacific, was mine. And also, Jack Posobiec was one of the intel guys at my unit. That's how we became friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was our connection. That's how I kind of, and then eventually found my way. And now I'm here like a few years later, which is crazy. But yeah, it's that was our big focus. That side of the world was China. And I did a couple staff jobs. I was an admiral staff, and I drafted tiny little parts of the war plans for China, if anything with Taiwan were to happen, or South China Sea, and also a separate war plan for North Korea. So, obviously I didn't write the whole thing. I wrote a little part of it. It's a huge, huge document, and it goes through admirals and generals in this massive process. But one of the things with the whole China thing is on the military side, it's like, it's scary, but that's the thing. That's not where this war is being fought. It's economic. It's informational. That's where the real war is going to fight.
It's the future. It's fourth and fifth generational
It
war.
absolutely is.
I would anticipate limited war, though, unfortunately.
This could be something.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.